Matty, we didn't get a chance to catch up after Saturday's game. How do you reflect on what was a quite incredible afternoon at Pontefract?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a bit of a surreal kind of game. You would kind of think it. We spoke about it after the game. It's always a nightmare when that kind of gust in the wind kind of blows straight down the pitch, because it just becomes a bit of a kind of lottery. A few of the kind of like phases, obviously the kicks and the line-outs and stuff like that. So it becomes a little bit of a nightmare, and we probably didn't use it to our full effect in the first half. We scored some good tries, probably the first kind of like 5 or 10 minutes, and then we went into our shell a little bit. And so we let Pontefract back in the game, and obviously they're a good side and they're a big side, and they played well to their kind of strengths with the kind of the scrums and the lineouts, and we let them obviously back into the game at half time. And I thought we were probably a few kind of tries short, but I think the way that we kind of played and looked after the ball in the second half was absolutely fantastic, and to come away with a win and 5 points at a place where I don't think we've done very well in the past was absolutely massive, and it's great achievement for the lads. On
paper, it would have kind of suited, ball up the jumper kind of rugby, where it's just build the phases close to the lines, take the points where you can, but actually your side were able to play some fairly free-flowing rugby.
Yeah, that's right, and like obviously we spoke about it, and it's a tougher with the wind behind you because the ball's going away from you, and once you kind of get the wind, then obviously the teams want to kick it, so if you actually into the wind, it becomes a lot easier to actually play rugby. You play with more possession, the ball comes into you, so you can actually kind of use the ball. So, and because it didn't really rain, it was just the wind affected that actually the ball wasn't wet, wasn't slippery, so we were able to utilise a few of our kind of patterns, and that worked against them well, and we came up with some really good tries.
I know sometimes after games we stand in here and we chat about maybe one or two individuals that stood out. I don't think you can really pinpoint that from Saturday's game. It seemed as if 1 to 15 plus your 3 subs, everybody was influential in the result.
Yeah, we spoke about that after the game, and that was one of the things that we kind of brought up, was that 1 to 18 was absolutely kind of outstanding, and it showed actually. We do like a bit of an individual man of the match, and I think out of the man of the match from kind of people individual wise, it was probably about 10 or 11 kind of guys whose names kind of like popped up, and all for kind of different kind of reasons. So yeah, it was absolutely fantastic, and the boys kind of really enjoyed it because we're working hard, and the things that we are working on seems to kind of come to fruition, and we're coming up with some points and we're coming up with some wins against some kind of tough opposition. And like what we said, we've got a really kind of tough, I think we've got 4 at home and about 6 or 7 away kind of like next year. And we've got the likes to kind of travel to Old Broads and Rochdale and teams like that are going to be kind of tough, and they're going to be fighting for kind of those kind of top places. But that's a bit of a showing that we can actually kind of compete, and we can actually kind of play away from kind of home as well.
You speak about tough tests. They don't really get much tougher than this weekend. Malton coming to Silveroyd, an opportunity to finish the year here at Silveroyd having only lost 1 league game in 2024, which is fairly remarkable, isn't it, really, here at Silveroyd? What are you expecting from that game? It's going to be fairly tough.
Yeah, exactly. A Malton Scarborough game is always magical. It's fantastic, and they come to kind of look to kind of spoil the party, and is what we do at their kind of spot. They're a good kind of physical outfit. I know that obviously they didn't have the best kind of start to the season, but they picked up some good wins over the last kind of few weeks, which obviously is going to build a lot of kind of confidence back in the side and amongst the lads. And they kind of went with a young kind of team, and that team's obviously looking to kind of that is growing at the moment. So we're obviously in a good kind of place, and and we can't really kind of let that kind of slip. I think all the hard work that we've done is probably fall by the wayside if we don't kind of put that kind of performance in at the back end of the year. And obviously Christmas time is fantastic. Obviously the club's going to be full, so it's a great time to kind of have them from a club's kind of perspective. We're just going to make sure that we put a performance on the field.
Yeah, I guess the messaging from you is, well done, lads. You've won at Pontefract away. You've beaten Broads at home. You've beaten Rochdale at home. But if you lose to Malton on Saturday, what's the point really? Because you've got to keep this run going, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. Every game's a tough game, and we've got to make sure that we kind of learn from every kind of week. Pontefract's obviously done and dusted now, and we look forward to the following week. And Malton at home is always a good kind of tough test, and we've got little bits. We've still got areas that we need to work on. We still let ourselves down with our few kind of like first kind of set piece and phases, and our scrum wasn't as to where we want it to be. And the likes of Boothie and the lads and Feathers and stuff that are going to come across, they're going to put us under a lot of pressure again at that scrum. So we need to make sure that we can kind of win our own ball, and with the ball that we have, we can use it.
What's your message to the supporters ahead of Saturday?
As I said, like Christmas time's a fantastic kind of time to kind of play rugby at Silveroid. And it's just it's a really enjoyable occasion. We're hoping that obviously the weather's going to be a lot better, but the more support that we can get down, the better it is. And we know that obviously the Scarborough kind of faithful is our kind of 16th to 19th kind of man at times, and we want everyone to kind of come down and enjoy the game and enjoy the kind of two teams and make sure that we end this year on a really good high.
What would it mean for you and the players to finish this season unbeaten, as in this calendar year, or the season that we've had so far, which would stretch to 9 or 10 wins?
Yeah, well, obviously we kind of slipped up a little bit, obviously with Bradford Salem at home, but we were a young team as well. We had 5 or 6 kind of fresh faces, so we knew that was going to be a tough test, and we really kind of spoke about kind of making kind of Silveroid a bit of a fortress, and we've kind of done that. And as you said, to let that kind of slip with kind of one game to go is going to be a little bit kind of hard pill to swallow, but we have to make sure we go out and just keep that performance and keep those levels and intensity kind of high, and put Malton under the pressure that we know that we can, and hopefully we can come away with another win.